Hello guys, gals, non-battery pals, and waterfowls. It's me, Big Mike. And this video is a new addition and a rather recent tradition of mine. So the Sonic Hacking Contest, the same group behind the contest of the same name, released a Nintendo Direct style video called Sonic Hacking Spotlight. And this video showcases some amazing and upcoming Sonic hacks, mods, and fan games, releasing later this year, with many, though perhaps not all, showing up at Sonic Hacking Contest 2025 later this year. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on some of these games. And fam, many of them have me quite ecstatic. And just a little heads up before we get into this, I just want to throw a quick disclaimer up. I'm not going to be talking about every single game that was showcased in this video, as some of the games aren't really for me. This year featured a lot of games that were merely translations into other languages, and some I can't play, like ones that are two-player. And so just because I don't mention your game, please don't take this as me not being interested in. If a game can be played by me, if I have the hardware to play it, I'm definitely going to check it out, fam. Also, if this video feels a bit loose, this is going to be largely an unscripted video. And with that out of the way, let's talk about some games, fam. So first we're going to be talking about Sonic CD's Scrapped Rounds. Now, fam, I don't really have too much of a connection with Sonic CD. It's a great game. It has a fantastic soundtrack. I always enjoyed the backgrounds, but I just don't have a strong connection with it like I do with the Genesis games. Probably because I didn't start playing Sonic CD until well into the 2000s, and it was for PC when I did, so I don't really have a strong connection with it, but I do appreciate it, and I do think it's a cool game. Now that being said, this game right here has me absolutely ecstatic because of the level design. The levels are breathtakingly beautiful, and I just enjoy how deeply intricate the backgrounds are. And if I had to choose one from the trailer, I think my favorite zone would be the Marble Zone-esque looking one. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm just obsessed with that background. Now, something else that this game has me hyped for is the new Badniks. I wonder what they're going to be like, and I wonder what kind of challenges they're going to possess. Also, I'm interested in the new gimmicks that are promised. So I'm not as in the know with the development of Sonic CD as I am with the Genesis games, but I have heard that there are some scrapped zones, and so I'm looking forward to checking these zones out for the first time, as I really don't know too much about them, but this game looks like it's going to deliver on an amazing experience. Next up, we have Sonic 3 Extended World CD. And fam, you've probably heard me say this a million times, and it's probably a damn shame you haven't had a dollar for every time I've said this, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles is hands down my favorite game of all time. And it's really interesting for me to see this project because it's based on a CD, as opposed to a Genesis cartridge. I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to bring to the table with this fully, utilizing that extra capacity. And we see some of this in the trailer, like the new power-ups like the homing shield, which I think had its debut in Sonic 3D Blast. So it was the next game after Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And also there's some other power-ups like the snowboard. Now the snowboard appeared, I want to say, in the Game Gear game Sonic Triple Trouble. This has me interested to see if they're going to have some other power-ups from that game as well. Like, my favorite from that game was Tails' submarine. Not only did it allow Tails to breathe underwater, but also Tails got missiles and stuff. And I could see that'd be very helpful, at least for the first half of the game. Now, what also really has my attention here are the new gimmicks that are given to the Blue Spear special stages. And I don't think I've ever seen that shaken up, and at least not in a fan game. I've seen some stuff in Sonic Mania that kind of shake things up a bit with Blue Spears, but not in a fan game or mod or hack. So this looks like it's going to be really interesting. Also, this is going to have new stage layouts, and I'm very much looking forward to that, to seeing what the developers have in store. Also, they've changed the bosses up a bit here as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be there too. And I'm hoping they'd add some new challenges to the game. As, I've been playing the game for almost 30 years, and so I can breeze through most bosses. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm just saying if I've been playing it for 30 years and can't do that, then that's kind of sad, fam. But yeah, I look forward to checking this out, and probably, as so far, this is the game that has me the most ecstatic. Now let's talk about Sonic Vania. Now, this right here, just from right off the bat, fam, this right here catches my attention. This is one of the most unique combinations of genres I've seen. You know, of course, it goes without saying, I love Sonic games, but I'm a pretty huge fan of Metroidvanias too. And this is thanks to the indie game community. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well this meshing of genres plays out. And so far from the trailer, it looks like it's going to work quite well. Now, I'm interested to see what the new moveset is. It looks like Sonic can turn his shields on and off. It looks like maybe he has like a whip, maybe a la Simon Belmont, for example. I love how it looks so atmospheric, and it looks like it's going to be a very, very gritty game. I'm not sure if Eggman's going to be the villain here or if there's some other villain, but it looks like it's going to be much darker than normal. Also, it looks very challenging. It almost looks like a Kazuya-esque type of hack. And if you're not familiar with the Kazuya style games, they're some of the most difficult games or modifications to games that you'll ever play. So I definitely want to give this one a shot. Now let's talk about Sonic Essence Second Soul. And fam, so far, in what I've seen, this is the most beautiful one. Now, the beautiful backgrounds, they really catch my eye because they almost have like this oil painting like quality to them. Also, not only is the aesthetics quite nice, but the settings of the stage also catch my eye as well. They seem like places you don't normally see in 2D Sonic games. And the last thing I'm really stoked for here is just the fast-paced action. There's a lot of it, and it seems like it takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of the modern 2D Sonic games. So on both the aesthetic front and on the gameplay front, it seems like this game is going to be a surefire hit. Next up is a gauntlet of all new boss fights for Sonic Free Air. And these boss fights, fam, look quite like nothing I've ever seen before. I've never even seen some of these characters before, so I'm guessing they are unique. So it's always good to have that. It's always good to see that. But not only that, but it's not just a new skin, but they're actually, they have new behavior, new patterns, and these are unlike anything I've ever seen in a Sonic game. For the most part. Now, the one exception to this, and this exception isn't even based on an old boss, but it takes elements from a part of the stage and works this into the boss's design and his attack, or its attack. And this is the one from Marble Garden Zone. And so the head that shoots out arrows is a normal stage obstacle. And so in this game, apparently, according to the trailer, it's going to be a boss. So that looks quite interesting. Yeah, it looks like it's going to spice things up quite nicely in the old Sonic 3 and Knuckles bedroom. And next up, we have Mean Bean 2. Now, the original Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine was one of my favorite games, and it's the game that gave me my love for puzzle games. And so I was really excited to see this. And part of this anticipation is from the fact that there's a new roster. And fam, because it's all about who makes that roster up, fam. And for me, it's the Chaotix, especially my man, Vector.
I'm a big moofo crocodile. I also love potato chips. And I'm pretty lecherous too, for all you ladies.
And last thing I really just want to talk about here is the design. The character design looks very different, and different in a good way. So if you ever played the original Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, then you'll notice the design of the characters, they were heavily influenced by the aesthetics from the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Where this one seems like the inspiration comes from the games. For example, Grounder, in his design from the original Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, he looked just like he did in the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. However, here in Mean Bean 2, he looks like he did in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now let's move on and talk about Sonic and the Duel of Fates. This is a fan game built on a retro engine, and I think this might be the first fan game we've seen today. Now, aesthetically speaking, the stages look like they take some cues, or rather hues, I should say, from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but goes in its own way. Especially in the first stage we see, it reminds me a lot of the ground color from Angel Island. The backgrounds seem a bit different. But I like that though. I like that mix. Now the gameplay seems to be inspired from the Advanced series, with wall hopping and speed rings. And the dialogue boxes make me quite interested in where the story is going. So I always like it when the games are fun. They're fun. They have a lot of gameplay, but I always like when they try to tell a story. And probably that's one of the reasons why I really liked Sonic 3 and Knuckles more so than its predecessors. And so anything that can kind of tell a story, I really, really enjoy that. So I look forward to see where Sonic and the Duel of Fates goes with its story. And next up we have Sonic 3 Goodliest. And this is actually one of my favorites from Sonic Hacking Contest 2024. In fact, I've talked about it in some of my previous videos, and I have a short out about it if you're interested in seeing that build of the game. However, what really made this mod so unique, or this hack so unique, was it was an absurdist hack. So you could play this game and things would pop up completely unexpectedly, and that's what made this game so unique. But it was put together in such a way that made it quite enjoyable. So, just a quick rundown. The previous build added so many new things to the game. New power-ups, moves, enemies, bosses, and not even just Sonic bosses, but bosses from other games. Even a new bonus stage. There was a card matching game, or card game of some sort lifted from one of the Mickey Mouse games. It was interesting, but it was completely unexpected. But the trailer looks like it's going to expand on that even more, with new power-ups. So in the last build, there were several different power-ups. The one that comes to mind is the bunny ears, or the bunny ears from Super Mario Land 2. And that looks like it's going to return here, but there's also a cape power-up, it seems. The last build was amazing. Not only was it a fun game to play, but also it kept you hooked because you never knew what was going to happen next. Who were you going to run into? And I feel like this one's going to be the same way, but on a much larger scale. And lastly, the final mod we're going to talk about is Mystic Cave Zone Remake. And if it's the same mod I'm thinking about, I've been following the development of it for quite some time, and it's a mod of Sonic 3 A.R. And just in case you're unfamiliar with this one, this stage actually comes from Sonic 2. But it looks like it's greatly expanded, as the original didn't have any lava portions. And so this looks like it's going to be quite interesting. It seems like maybe it was inspired by Lava Reef, perhaps. But minecarts is another section that wasn't in the original, and this looks like it's inspired by the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Game Gear. And for those who don't know, the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Game Gear was vastly different from the one for the Genesis or the Mega Drive. And the sub-boss looks quite unique as well. Now, there wasn't a sub-boss in the original, so this is completely new, and yeah, it looks quite interesting. So here are my final thoughts, fam. So I was really, really surprised by all the love Sonic 3 and Knuckles has received this year. Now, if you're not familiar with the Sonic hacking scene or the mod scene, then this might not seem like much to you, but as somebody who's been in the scene, or who's enjoyed the scene, I should say, since around 2006, 2007, this right here is actually something quite special. As Sonic 3 and Knuckles hacks or mods are relatively new and rare. So despite the game's age, they still very much are lacking behind what we see with the original and with Sonic 2. But as is evidenced by this year's Sonic Hacking Showcase, the hacking scene for Sonic 3 and Knuckles is catching up. So this has me quite excited. I'm looking forward to the future, to next year's Sonic Hacking Showcase, and also the Sonic Hacking Contest and stages of the future. Now, with all that out of the way, and without going too much off track, because this really isn't about my love for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, though it probably will come off as a love letter to such, but I'm looking forward to checking all of these games out. Even the ones I didn't discuss, because when it comes to the Sonic hacks, mods, and fan games, I will play anything my system can handle, considering it's not just a translation into a language I don't understand. But with that, I'm greatly looking forward to this year's Sonic Hacking Contest and seeing which games will appear there. Also, if you're interested in this type of videos, my next video, considering nothing crazy happens, no crazy news happens in any of the subjects I cover, my next video is going to be a Sage related video. So if you like this type of stuff, be sure to look out for that one. And with that, we'll call the video here. Special thanks to Fran, who does a wonderful job of doing my art. She's back on Twitter, and she's looking for art moots. So if you're looking for friends in the art community, or you're looking to have some artwork done, please consider commissioning Fran. She's a damn good artist, a damn good person to work with, and she's all around fantastic. A special thanks to all of my friends on Twitter. I wouldn't be here without you all. And a special thanks to all of you for watching this video. Please like this video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. But hey, if you want to be really cool about disliking my video, please leave me a comment below and let me know why you dislike my video, so I can improve myself and I can be a better Big Mike. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. Until next time, fam, remember, just be yourself and you'll be awesome. Peace out!